Gary Sinise, thank you for speaking with CBS News. It's been 22 years since the 9/11 attacks. Where are your thoughts on this anniversary?
What happened after September 11th was something that changed my life completely, and it turned me from more of a focus on my acting career and the movie business and the theater stuff and television and all those things to kind of doing something positive for others. And I wrote a book that came out a couple of years ago called Grateful American, A Journey from Self to Service. And it is an examination of how I ended up volunteering so much, and the things that happened along the way, the seeds that were planted along the way, and then the turning point that turned me completely towards service.
And for many Americans, it was a call to action, and now they're heading into retirement. How great is the need?
Tremendous need. I probably, personally, for me, creating a foundation that supports veterans and military and first responders and everything like that, if there wasn't a need, I probably would have hung it up a while ago. And it wouldn't have manifested into a full-time mission that the public supports with their generous donations and allows us to reach out and touch people all over the country who are in need. And there are a lot of people in need. I mean, especially I would mention, you can't neglect what happened in Afghanistan and the way that fell, and the 20 years of sacrifice, 20 years of all of everything. And then the Taliban comes back and takes over. And so if you're somebody that lived through that, multiple deployments throughout that time, saw friends lose their lives, get hurt, go into the hospitals, have to suffer terrible injuries and live with those injuries. And then you wonder why we went through all that if we were just going to step away and hand it back to the Taliban. So you got a lot of people that are really struggling with that right now. And there is it was a real moral injury. There's no question about that. And people are struggling and suffering. And we want them to know that regardless of what happened, their service mattered.
What can be done for our elite warriors who face very unique challenges?
I always encourage our fellow citizens to not everybody can get on a plane like I did and go to the war zone and visit the troops all over the place and do those kinds of things. But there are often very simple, easy ways to pat somebody on the back, and to let them know that we appreciate what they do for us. If everybody in every community around the country just reached out and touched their local veteran, their local service member, their local Gold Star family, their Blue Star family, somebody might be deployed and that family might be going through something difficult. If everybody in the country just took it upon themselves to recognize that these people provide something that's very special and important to all of us, and reached out and touched them in a way that could help them through. Not everybody can raise a lot of money and go all over the place, but it doesn't take that. It just takes recognition that we have these people serving us and that there's something we can do to serve them back.
It's been nearly 30 years since you played Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. Was that a transformative role? Maybe a little bit of destiny?
When I played Lieutenant Dan, I couldn't have never predicted that I'd be living with the character, in a different way 30 years later. After September 11th, it was a turning point, and I started visiting the hospitals and walking in, and at that time, they wouldn't necessarily even know what my real name was, but they would recognize me as the character in the movie. And somehow think that because I played that part of a double amputee, that I could relate to what a double amputee was going through in the hospital. But if you look at the story of Lieutenant Dan, it's very positive in the end. You know, he's a Vietnam veteran who survives and moves on and thrives. And that's the story we want for everybody who's wounded in battle, and to come home and be able to move on and go forward. Lieutenant Dan played a significant role in my life. There's no question about it. Not only, I mean, on the career side, it was a very, very helpful and everything. When you're in an Oscar-nominated movie like that, it changes a lot of things. But the best part about it is what it provided me, the opportunities it provided me to engage with great, great Americans who are resilient in their challenges and moving forward. I've learned a lot from them.
That's the point in the interview where I really see this deep connection. I mean, I can see it in your face. There is a real deep connection.
Yeah, Catherine, right now, I haven't done any acting for about 4 years. Pre-pandemic was the last thing I did. But my life is very full with what the acting career actually allowed me to do, which is I'm successful in the acting career. I made some money. I was able to take that and do some good with it, and it's given life great purpose. There's no question. There's a line in my book. I've said it before. When joy connects to mission, a life of purpose begins to take shape.
And finally, what's next for the Gary Sinise Foundation?
I want the Gary Sinise Foundation to be as strong as possible, so that our outreach is wide and we can help as many people as possible in the coming years. And my goal would be to just stand up an organization that can live beyond me and keep going to help people. That's my goal. I want to make the world a better place by trying to make somebody's life a little bit better each day. And that's, I think if we all try to do that for each other, that's how we do make the world a better place.
Gary Sinise, thank you for speaking with CBS News.
Thank you, Catherine.